Let me introduce you to another woman. Her name is Heidi Roizen. Heidi Roizen is a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley. And a few years back, a colleague of mine wrote a case study about her, the kind of case study that we teach really across the world to help our students understand what good business, good leadership, good management looks like. And the case is about what she did as an entrepreneur, as a venture capitalist, and how she built her enterprises in Silicon Valley. A few years later, some other colleagues had a creative idea to replace her first name by Howard. And what they then did was to give half of their students the case with the protagonist being called Howard, and the other half of their students the same case, everything absolutely identical, with the protagonist being called Heidi. So the students read the case, prepared for class, and then at the end had to fill out a questionnaire, asked how they feel about Heidi and Howard. And you might not be surprised, knowing what the topic of our discussion tonight is, that students thought that both Heidi and Howard did a good job. In fact, they were both competent, but they did not like Heidi. They wouldn't want to hire Heidi, and they didn't want to work with Heidi. Why is that? Heidi does not conform to our stereotypes of what a venture capitalist looks like. She is a minority. And the same is, of course, true for male nurses or male kindergarten teachers. Same is true for female CEOs or female engineers. This is how our minds work. Our minds put people into categories, and if you do not conform to the norm, we tend to punish you for that norm violation. This is what we collectively are up against. We're up against how our minds work, in that we put people into boxes, and that seeing really is believing. And if we don't see male kindergarten teachers, we don't naturally associate that job with men. And if we don't see female engineers, we don't naturally think that women are made for engineering. So what do we do? So here's the good news and the bad news. The good news is that this is not about pointing fingers at anyone, but in fact, this is about all of us. This is about well-meaning people who kind of want to do the right thing, but find it hard to always get around to doing it. Now here's the bad news. Our minds are stubborn beasts. They're really hard to change. So what I was trying to do in my book at the beginning was to really learn what works, the title of the book, what works to overcome such gender bias.